Happy Wednesday. Of course, we're all back again. I've got Nathan and Dr. Vaughn here with me today. Hey guys.
Hi, Jade. Hi, everybody.
We have a really special training today. Dr. Vaughn is going to be talking about a new product that is going to be launching. And you guys, it is amazing. You may have already heard some things about it, but you definitely still want to get to convention because we have some other surprises as well. And it's going to be so much fun. But I want Dr. Vaughn to go through this new product, and I'm just going to let him say everything, but we're really excited, you guys, about this launch, and we hope that you're excited too. Go ahead and take it away, Dr. Vaughn.
All right. So I'm just going to use a presentation that we used to introduce this product to some of the top leaders a few weeks ago. So you'll get the same training that they got. And we'll go through and talk about the new For Life Transfer Factor Max. So Transfer Factor Plus has been at the top of the immune support game for over 20 years. And it's time that we enhanced that and made something even better. There's lots of research and other things available now that we did not have back then. And so Transfer Factor Max is that next evolution and is providing the most powerful immune support product on the market. And we'll go through and talk about why that is here as we talk about the new product. So to start off with, this is going to be the potential new claims for the product. And I've put a little bit of a caveat here. A few of these are still kind of in the works. And so things might shift a little bit between now and convention as we get the research in on this and see exactly what the studies show. But it should have something similar to this as we go. So obviously, this one is going to be looking at two new aspects of immune function, the first of which is immune stem cells. And we'll talk about these in a little more detail as we go through this here. And the second is we're adding a huge number of immune cells into the mix. And again, we'll talk about what that is and what those cells are and what they do as we talk about these things. But this is going to bring the research behind our transfer factor products up to over 90% of all types of immune cells being covered by transfer factor max. You've heard about the phytofactor. We've talked about that a number of times over the last few months. Talk about it briefly again here today. But this will be the first product to contain the phytofactor, and it will be the one that has it in combination with the trifactor that you're all used to. And then IP6, we'll talk a little bit about this one. And I'll just say here, and you'll probably hear me say it again as well, if you got some time, you can ask your favorite AI to give you a summary on IP6, and you'll see a lot of things there we can't talk about, but you'll instantly understand why it's an important part of the enhancements in Transfer Factor Max. So let's kind of break these down and go into them in a little bit more detail. So we'll start off with stem cells. Now, I want to do a little bit of an explanation here because I think a lot of people misunderstand what we're talking about. Stem cells, it gets a lot of press, but not a lot of explanation. And so here we're talking about immune stem cells. Now, you have all sorts of different types of stem cells. Now, you can go all the way back to an embryonic stem cell, which gives rise to every cell in the body. We're not talking about that kind of stem cell. Here it's just immune stem cells. So these are the cells that give rise to every type of immune cell. It's not going to generate a muscle or a brain cell or anything like that, only immune cells. And then you look at the little chart here, and on the left-hand side, you can see those first two columns. Those are your immune stem cells. And you can see on the very left that one cell can give rise to every type of immune cell. And then the next one there, it's a little bit more differentiated, as we say. And so each of those only gives rise to a subset of immune cells. But what's key about stem cells is they're one of the main ways that your body deals with repair and rejuvenation. So as old cells die and new cells are born, many of them begin as a stem cell, and then based on the body's need, that cell is then guided into the specific type of cell that needs to be repaired or replaced. And so that way you can modify, you take a single cell and make it turn into whatever your current body needs are. And as we look at the research here and talk about it, you'll see what we're kind of looking at in terms of this repair and rejuvenation function for stem cells. And so the trial that is just wrapping up now, again, we're still kind of waiting for the final data on that. Should have that in the next couple of months, and we'll know exactly what we can say once that's in. But this is what we anticipate will come out of the studies. And so you'll see here an ability to show the transfer factors support the functions of immune stem cells as they aid the body in tissue repair and regeneration. And so looking again at a new aspect of immune system function and adding immune cells into the list of many things covered by transfer factors. Now here you'll see all the, well, not all, but a good collection of immune cells. So these are kind of the main basic types. Added some green checks here for those that we have already studied. And we've talked about the research behind each of these different types of stem cells. All together, these actually make up a fairly small amount of the immune system, really only about 40 or so % in total. What we're going to look at now is a new type of immune cell called the neutrophil. And I want you to kind of look at this chart. This is a fun way to kind of look at how your immune cells are distributed throughout the body. And here for those neutrophils, we're looking at the kind of the dark blue squares. And you can see there's some areas where there are a lot of neutrophils, like your bone marrow, your lymphatic system, a few of those others. But those cells show up just about everywhere throughout the body. And neutrophils make up about half of all of your immune cells. And so they are a significant portion of your immune system. Let's take a minute, just talk a little bit about what neutrophils do. So again, they make up about half of the immune system. They are your first responders. It doesn't really matter what kind of infection you're dealing with or challenge, neutrophils will be involved. Now, they are often a sacrificial attack when it comes to their role in the immune system, meaning that as they fill their purpose, they die in the process. And so neutrophils are one of those things that are constantly being replaced, and one reason why they are such a large portion of your immune system. So as they perform their activity, then they are lost in the process, and they do some pretty interesting things that we'll talk a little bit more about in convention, but don't have time for here. And so these are a really interesting part of the immune system, an early responder part of it, and a large portion of the immune system. So this study is looking at both the numbers of neutrophils over a few weeks' time, as well as a few dozen indicators on their activity. So again, this one is just wrapping up now. We hope to have the data in by the end of the year, so we can get that all wrapped up and packaged nicely so you'll see the fine details come convention. This will then, in combination with the other research we have already done, the immune cell types that I talked about just a second ago, will bring up our total number of immune cells studied for transfer factor max to over 90%. Still a lot more to kind of learn about the immune system and how transfer factors impact each individual cell type. The neutrophils is going to add a large portion to our knowledge base there and be a very unique thing for the transfer factor max. So let's talk in more detail about the product and what you're going to see. So probably the biggest thing here is that now you're going to get a daily dose of your trifactor. So that's the 600 milligrams a day. And as I mentioned before, this will be the first product to have the phytofactor in there at a 300 milligram dose. So this will be the first product to have all 4 forms of transfer factor in it and be able to provide that additional immune support. Now, I talked a little bit about phytofactor over the last few months. Just a quick recap on that. This is peptides isolated from the seed proteins of the Brassica napus plant. And these are ones that have been shown to have benefits in terms of supporting immune function. And this is one of the ways that plants transfer immune information from one generation to the next. And so that's why I give them the plant transfer factor name or the phytofactor trade name. And so the thing about plants, though, is they have to deal with things differently than you and I. They have a simpler immune system, and they don't have the ability to avoid or get away from those things that can cause them harm. And so they must deal with these things in a shorter time frame and in a more direct fashion. And so as we've looked at how phytofactor works, we see that those two things bear out. The phytofactor works in a little bit faster time frame, and in some cases has a direct activity towards some of those things that threaten plants. So slight bit of difference there between the plant and the animal transfer factors, which makes for the potential for good synergies between the two and certainly complementary functions when you put the two together, as we have here in the transfer factor max. Talking really briefly about IP6, again, take a few minutes when you have a minute to ask your favorite AI what IP6 does for your immune system, and you'll see a lot. And you can see really briefly here, this is the number of studies published on IP6 over the last, almost 50 years there, looking at how that has exploded in the last kind of 10 years or so. You can see there's over 6,000 studies on IP6, 350 of those specifically looking at immune system functions. And so second to transfer factor, this is probably the most studied immune support ingredient, and for very good reasons. Lots of benefits going along with it. And with the transfer factor max, one of the key things here is we have included it in the product at the dose that is used in many of these studies. And so you have a clinically studied dose and an amount that has been shown time and again to be effective in humans. Now here is the supplement facts panel for the product. You can see really this is kind of a marriage between three of our top products. You have your daily dose of Trifactor, you have the things you know and love from Transfer Factor Plus, and then we've added in some of those things you see in Immune Boost. So that's where your zinc, well, the zinc's in plus, there's vitamin C, the D, those things are all from the boost, as well as, again, your daily dose of Trifactor. Now you'll look down there and you'll see that this also has all of those things that you see in plus. Now, if you're like Nathan and you've memorized the label and you know exactly what order everything comes in, you'll see that it's not the same. And that is because the research has changed over the last 20 years. And now what we've done with this product is tried to put everything in an order that follows the amount of clinical research for each of these ingredients. So again, IP6 is now showing up at the top because it has the most and the best studies on it. And then going down that list, you'll see shiitake mushroom right there, second place. It is the next best studied ingredient. And on down the line there, you can see everything has kind of been reordered to reflect the amount and the quality of research available for that ingredient in terms of immune system support. And so, yeah, there is some similarities here between plus, but we've tried to optimize everything here to match the research and, again, give you the best immune support product possible. So that let's just kind of review those claims that we started off with. So this will be the only product that'll have immune stem cell research behind it. Well, dramatically increasing the number of studied immune cells impacted by this product. You have the phytofactor, which is adding a different aspect to the immune system response, adding, again, a kind of a shorter, a quicker acting thing, as well as some direct impact as by itself. You have a clinically studied dose of IP6. This product will have 3 published clinical studies on it, and you'll keep with it the same activation within 2 hours claim you have with any of the rest of the daily dose products. And then lastly, we're adding a 4th R to the list here. You all remember the recognize, respond, and remember. Now you'll also have repair to go with it. So there's Transfer Factor Max, a great product. Hopefully you'll be able to take advantage of it. Nathan and Jade are going to talk about the special that'll be available to you so you can get your hands on this before convention. Don't miss that opportunity. And then I hope to see you all at convention where we'll talk in more detail about this product. And as Jade mentioned, a few of the other surprises we have in store for you. So hope to see you all there. Back to Jade and Nathan.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Vaughn.
So awesome.
Love it. And let's just get something straight. Nathan doesn't memorize any products. He just, when Dr. Vaughn says take it, he just takes it. So that's just, I'm lucky I've got my own personal doctor to tell me what I should take. So
Absolutely. And this is a
thanks,
good
Dr.
one.
Vaughn. So exciting. So exciting. It's going to be great.
Good stuff.
All right. We'll see you, buddy. Thank
We'll
you.
see you
See you
next
guys next
time.
week.
All right, guys. So you might notice we've taken a lot of quite a bit different approach to this launch. In the past, we've never done this. We've not only let you guys know so many details about it this early in the game. So what are we out? Let's see, December. So we're 5 months out from convention right now. And you basically, obviously there's studies and different things that we're finishing up that will be the big announcements at convention and that. But you have a really strong understanding of what we've done here. You understand we have another great transfer factor advancement, and another new patented version of transfer factor announcements. So
Yes.
we've been that patent going a little bit longer. So it's an exciting time in the product era for life products. So love it. So excited about it and love to bring it this way. Now, one thing Jade and I want to share with you, let me make sure I get this up here. Couple things is Brent mentioned it right there. We want you guys to be able to get your hands on this product early. So here is the deal. Let me share my screen here. Boom. All right, Jade, can you see that?
Yes.
All right, so we have a TF Max early purchase incentive, and what it is if anyone who qualifies at Diamond or higher in either, not all, any of these months, November, December, or January, you will be able to get your hands on TF Max February 21st to the 28th. You'll have the opportunity to buy 2 bottles on those dates. And this is only available for the US and emerging markets, but yeah, take a quick look at that. Now that label on there, that is the early adopters label. So that is not the actual label for convention. So just so that you guys are clear on that. But yeah, take a look at that. Diamond, November, December, or January. Any of those months, you'll get the opportunity to buy this product. Now, so take advantage of that. Now, a couple of things we want to talk about. That we have a really unique launch strategy. Like I said, I think Danny's told the first people about this on the President's Club pick trip back in June. So almost a full 10-month cycle of letting people know about this product. So we've never done it like this before. We also are going to do a little something different as well. After convention, we will not be selling Max until July 1st. So that's almost a 2.5-month window. So only people at convention will be able to buy it.
Yeah.
So it's important to be at convention and keep in mind the $99 price. And when I say that, I know it's $149 right now, but all in the US market, all bronzes and above have a code. So reach out to your bronze, get their code, and register for $99. And make sure you're at convention so you can get your hands on this product. Let me see here. I made myself some notes. What other things we want to talk about? Oh, it's just Jade also mentioned we're going to be now launching a couple other products. So we're going to have some other product announcements at convention. So you got to be ready for that. Those are going to stay a secret.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about those. Those will stay a secret. I'm very excited about those. It's a lot of stuff happening at convention, a lot to be excited about. But TF Max, it is the next evolution in transfer factor.
Yeah.
It will be the new flagship product of for life. It will be the king product of all transfer factor products. So to know that we continually, even though we already had the best immune product out there, now we're going to take it to another level with TF Max. So get ready for it, get registered for convention, make sure you take advantage of it, and make sure you qualify at least Diamond or above in November, December, or January so you can get your hands on this great product in February. Thanks you guys for joining us. Appreciate it. We'll see you later.
See you
Bye-bye.
next time.